So, why did my family, my husband and I, choose an online education program? Why did we choose Connection Academy? And so, online education has been something my husband and I have talked about even before we had our two children, Cam, who is now 10 going on 11, and Kayla, who is 8 going on 9 this year. And so, online education, again, was something that we talked about. And so when we moved to the West Coast, my husband accepted a job on the West Coast, and my children, we enrolled them to programs here where we are. And I just noticed they experienced some bullying. They were having some issues with bullying. When we finally bought our first house here where we live, that our children had to switch schools. And even then, they were experiencing some bullying. And I would notice it was kind of hard with Kayla because Kayla got to a point that she would literally stay in the bed almost every morning. She wouldn't want to get out of bed. She didn't want to go to school. And then I would see as I work with her and actually talk to the teacher and started, really addressing, trying to see what was going on. I started participating in their schools and, going on field trips because I wanted to help them to adapt to their changing environment, because both of our children were really liked when they were at a different school. Cam was more seen like a leader in his classroom and had made good friends. And so this was literally their third or so school in the past year, and so it was a big change for them from being somebody to really feeling like they were nobody. They were the new kids on the block, and we know that there's no sense in there's no reality to nobody, but that's how they felt. And so we transitioned them to that school, and they still kept experiencing some bullying that I addressed. I was in the principal's office, and I didn't feel like I was a part of our students' education. They didn't have homework coming home. They didn't have homework, so I would try to give them homework, stuff to work on. I didn't know really how they were progressing other than what was being told. And then when I got my daughter's report card, then it was like a different story came out. And I was like, oh my gosh, I was battling pneumonia, and I was just like, I need to know what our kids are doing. And the other thing was that our children every morning would just kind of have this sad gloom face, this appearance on them. And I knew something was wrong. I was trying to make my career. I thought, okay, they're going to be in school. Kayla's first year in kindergarten. I'm going to have all this time to do what I need to do. And I wasn't. I didn't have that time because I was busy trying to get them acclimated to school and to programs. So when the coronavirus hit, it gave me an opportunity to settle down, to the doors that opened, where we decided, my husband and I, to go ahead and teach our children at home. And so I searched online. I got a lot of information about what classes they need. I went to Oregon Department of Education, and I developed a program for them. But yet still, all along, I felt like I was not meeting their individual needs, because what I was teaching my son, I was teaching my daughter pronouns and nouns, which benefited them, but I still felt like I really didn't have a core curriculum. So when the school year came around for 2022, I had some hesitations. There was a question about their socialization. There was a question about what material will I use to help them for their upcoming state exams. Was I meeting their individual needs? What Kayla needed to learn as a second grader versus Cam needed to learn as a fourth grader. And then one day, my husband also talked about his concerns, socialization. And so one day, my husband just said, I think we should get them into an online program. Well, we have two programs that we were looking at, and one of them was Connections Academy. And so I filled in the paperwork, and I just noticed Connections Academy was there. They answered my questions when I turned in paperwork, because we were at a deadline. Like each one of them was like, you need to get it in. If you don't get it in, they'll start late. And I didn't want our children to start late. And so every person I talked to at Connections Academy was very helpful and addressed my concerns. They went in and updated the materials that I sent. When I talked to the other program, they were kind of like, I don't know. And I really didn't feel guided. I really didn't feel that connection with them. But with Connections Academy, I did. And I was concerned that they wouldn't have live lessons because I didn't see that on Connections Academy. And then what I later found out from, I believe the teacher or one of them, is that they just started this school year, doing 2 live lessons a day for most days, except Monday and Friday. And so our kids get to see not only the students in their classroom an opportunity to socialize, but they also get to see the teacher and hear the educational component of their lesson. I love Connections Academy and that they celebrate characteristics. They have a kindness week. The children have the opportunity to be on principal honor roll. They have the opportunity I can see their lessons. I get to see what their quizzes they have, what quizzes they will have in the future, what tests are coming up, the materials, I get to print them. I get to save them on their computer. And that's what I'm doing for them. I'm saving material so they'll have something to go back to. Today we talked about with our children, managing their course. Kayla said, she knew she had 3 classes. And she said, their goal is to get 2.5 classes done, and then they can have break time. So they can do whatever they want to do. They can see their tablet. They can call a friend who they have 2 people they know that are on spring break this week. And so Kayla said, I can actually do all my classes and be done. I said, that's exactly what I want to get you to. I want to get you to managing your own courses. And that's what Connections Academy online education offers, the chance for our children not just to take classes, but to feel in control of their classes. They have that flexibility. They see their material. They get to talk to whoever they want to talk to. The teachers are really good about spamming and no spamming and bullying, and they're talking about character. And the teacher got the students, my daughter's teacher, she got the students involved in sending letters to the soldiers. There were, I believe they were going away for some time duty. My husband knows about that because he's a veteran, and he helped our daughter write a letter for the soldiers. And so I feel like as a family that we are involved. My husband gets to see their classes and gets to interject when needed. And we have time that we can do their classes, which is primarily in the morning. We have lunch together, and we have breakfast and devotion in the morning. We have lunch together. We have dinner together. And at dinner, before dinner, I have them to do homework time. And homework, I have access of material to go over. And so I love Connections Academy. There's just so many things I love about them. I feel like I can't put them in a box, but I love that they get to take languages. Cameron just took a semester, a program of elementary Chinese. Kayla is learning sign language. And so I want our children to learn the different languages, to be multicultural education. I want them to be able to relate to people regardless of wherever they're from, and they can learn their language and show that respect and show that kindness. I love just the different books. They have Freckle, which is an online program that they're supposed to do like every day, Monday through Friday, practicing reading, practicing math. I love the standardization of preparing them for the tests. Cam has an upcoming state exam, and I feel better. There's still some anxiety, but I feel better that he's had Connections Academy and had that support educationally, morally, confident, a lot of confidence that radiates from my children because they feel supported, the kind comments from the teachers. And learning is not supposed to be hard. Learning is supposed to be building people up instead of tearing them down. And I feel like Connections Academy does that with my children. I feel like They are supportive. I feel like they are family oriented. I feel like they are exceeding standards, not just meeting them. And that's what I wanted for my children. I wanted them to exceed standards, not in just an overall being, moral character, their personality, their foundation, intellectually, socially, spiritually. Like I said, with Bible and devotion, we get to do that every morning before they tackle their courses. And I'm getting them to think for themselves. And so I didn't do this just to, be a commercial for Connections Academy. I did this as a parent because I've shared before that I am not successful as a parent unless my children are. And often we hear about so many children that have gone, wayward. And it's like, well, what can I do as a parent to help instill a foundation in my children that they can meet their experiences head on and transcend their experiences versus being caught in them. And even if they do get caught, they have the tools to unravel, to free themselves. And so that is my job, is to meet the wholeness of my children. So thank you so much for watching this. And if you want to be part of a community that is bent on parenting with purpose, with principle, with vision, healthy eating, healthy body, we're not talking about diets here. We're talking about using the guiding principles of nature to help us take care of this vessel that is the vehicle for our message. As parents, we have a divine message for the world, and our children have divine messages for the world. And so how can we do that as a parent where it becomes a win-win for our children? You can find more about who I am on TamikaSChambers.com. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and I would love for you to be a part of a community bent on fulfilling our divine purpose and healing from the inside out, therefore creating a generational love cycle. Take care of you guys.